Hello everyone, my name is Caroline, and today I'll be talking to you about corporate social responsibility and how more profitable and valuable it is to the society. Just an overview about my presentation. I'll be going through what corporate social responsibility is, and then its relationship with the profit of the organization, and then I'll be stating some facts about CSR, and then I'll be talking about some critiques that face CSR activities nowadays, and then I'll conclude with my personal reflection to that. So what corporate social responsibility is, it is the duty and activities of an organization towards the society. What that means is that it is the organization's activities that go beyond the requirements and regulations of any organization. So it is the purpose of that is impacting the society, the people, the environment. It is kind of a way of providing the goods and services that the organization provide, but without destroying natural and social capital. Some examples of CSR activities are charitable programs like doing some charity work to orphanages, hospitals, maybe commitment to the environmental sustainability program, which is being eco-friendly, recycling, also providing a diverse and safe workplace for the employees, avoiding pollution, decreasing the mistreatment of an employee, and increasing the satisfaction of employees. It's also preventing the reckless use of resources. So every organization knows what are the best practices of the organization, and what corporate social responsibility is basically publicly announcing and sharing and reporting those activities and those behaviors of the organization. So it is showing the actual organization, like the internal and external, showing the values and the purpose of the organization and what the company or the organization really cares for. I believe that corporate social responsibility symbolizes 2 points. One, creating value, which is showing the value of the organization and sharing it to the public. And then second is the triple bottom line. What the triple bottom line is, it is combining three dimensions that the CSR activities care for. The first would be the economic dimensions, which is the financial management, the financial planning, the risk, the profit, the reputation of the company. The second would be the environmental dimensions, which is how the company cares for the environment, how it uses the resources, its waste, what are the activities towards the environment. And then third would be the social dimension, which is the people, the how the company cares for the employee satisfaction, how it provides them with a safe and healthy work conditions and work environment. Does the organization provide the needs and the needs of the consumer? So having these summarize what corporate social responsibility, I found some facts about corporate social responsibility that I believe are so important. So in Fortune magazine, the first fact that I found was that corporate social responsibility does have a relation with the financial performance of the company. The other facts also state that, were also found through Fortune magazine, and they also state that CSR has a relationship with the reputation of the company. It has a relationship with how the company is perceived by the consumer, and how actually the consumer supports the company. So the more the company has CSR activities, the more the consumer wants to support this value that the company has delivered, or it basically shows what the company is. So it affects the reputation and the profit of the company eventually. I've also found that 41% of how people feel about the company is based on their perception of the firm's corporate social responsibility, and I believe that 41% is a big percentage. In 2013, I found that in Fortune magazine, there's a list of the top 10 corporate social responsibility activities. The first was Microsoft, the second was Walt Disney Company, the third was Google, the fourth was BMW, then Mercedes-Benz, then Sony, then Intel, then Volkswagen, then Apple, and then Nestle. Then unfortunately, I'll be moving towards the critique that corporate social responsibility is facing right now. Some people have a very negative perception of corporate social responsibility, and they believe that it's only veiling the truth of the organization, and that corporate social responsibility is a tool of impression management. It's a bias. It's a bias tool, and it's a goal-directed activity. What that means is that people think that corporate social responsibility is a way to influence the impression of the audience. So through impression management, organizations try to shape an audience impression of the organization, which is kind of manipulating what the audience think about the organization. They also say that it's a way of concealing the information and concealing the truth of the organization. In response to that, I have a video that the CEO of Starbucks had shared, and I believe that it really responds to those critiques, and I believe that it's a really important video. So please watch.
I'm Howard Schultz, CEO of Starbucks Coffee Company. I'm here to talk about building shareholder value, not only for the shareholders, but the people that work in your company and the communities you serve.
Baruch here with Gen Connect, joined today by the one and only Howard Schultz. Thanks for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So from day one creating Starbucks, you really always kept in mind, yes, of course, the coffee, creating a great product, but it was always about going beyond the product and giving back. Tell me about your ethos from the beginning.
From day one, we've always believed that our business model was a little bit different, not better, but different, and that was to create a balance between making a profit and shareholder value, but most specifically a social conscience and a level of benevolence that was defined in the early years by giving health care to every single employee and equity in the form of stock options.
Was that priority of benevolence, focusing on your employees and on the community, was that challenging as you started to grow?
It was challenging because in the early years, the private shareholders thought that might dilute shareholder value. But I think what we've proven as a 20-year public company that has created lots of value for shareholders is that the only way you can create value for your shareholders is if you create value for your people.
So in essence, actually focusing on the community helped the bottom line as well.
Absolutely. And I think it's even more important today because so many communities across America are in need. In fact, 42 out of 50 states in America are in a budget deficit. There's going to be significant cuts to social services that companies and business leaders must recognize. We can't wait for Washington. We have to do more. We have to do our part.
I've got to ask you, what does Howard Schultz order at Starbucks?
Depending on the time of the day, in the morning, a doppio espresso macchiato. In the afternoon, a French press with Sumatra.
Noted. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And for more with Howard Schultz and to learn more about his incredible work at Starbucks and giving.
Besides the fact that we now know what the CEO of Starbucks drinks, I believe that Starbucks is one of the very successful companies that we all probably pass by every day. And stating that corporate social responsibility does affect the organization a lot throughout the years of success of Starbucks, I thought it was very important to show this graph that I found. The graph begins with 2003 all the way to 2011. This is the relationship between the CSR activities and the profit of the organization, and we can see here that the organization had started with CSR activities and the profit wasn't as good, and then when they started increasing their CSR activities all the way to 2011, the profit has been increasing a lot. Because it's not only that the company does CSR activities to the society and the environment only, it does CSR activities internally to make sure that the employees are satisfied and they have the right working condition and the safe working condition, which improves the performance, which eventually improves the profit or increases the profit as well. So in response to that, I would say that corporate social responsibility is not an impression management tool. I would say branding versus impression management. So branding means showing or delivering the actual value of the organization and what the organization cares for, the mission of the organization. So corporate social responsibility is a way of branding. It shows what the organization cares for, and like the CEO of Starbucks had stated earlier, that they care for their people, they care for their employees. So their CSR activities are directed towards them. I would also state two important points about CSR, and I think that these are very important points that would respond to those critiques as well. CSR does affect the profit of the organization, which is very important for all organizations. And second, it benefits others. So CSR is not a negative tool; it is a very positive tool, and it does make a very important value to the consumer. In conclusion, after going through what CSR is and how it's perceived by people and what its benefits are, and my personal reflection to that, I would say including the faith in the CSR activities, the faith thought, I would only conclude it in only two words. It does good. So if some companies are doing CSR just for the sake of building a good reputation, then we should just let them do it because it brings more profit and it does good for the people. It makes the companies care for their employees. It makes the companies provide good health and working conditions for their employees. It makes the companies care for the environment and do efforts and activities and programs to the environment. And at the end of the day, it does bring value and profit to the organization. So I think it is very important to include CSR activities to organizations. Thank you very much for your patience and for listening to me. Bye.